isn't that beautiful? Purple tree collard being propagated. Hi everybody, it is Robbie from Southern California. And let's do a spin around the garden. It is March 1st. No, it's not spring, not here. I think in Australia, you have your holidays and your seasons, I should say, at the first month, you know, in the beginning, the first of the month, but we don't do that here. We go by the sun, so that's how they do it here. These propagating plants are doing really good. This is emu bush, this is just some more geraniums, and this is all turmeric I am getting out because it's gonna have to be dumped. See, I've been starting it here. I dump them and then I mark them, the turmeric, and I'm replanting them. And so I'm not done here. Anytime you see pink, that means I'm done with it. Don't touch it. And we wait till spring and I'm working here. I can sit, I can stand, I'm working out of the wheelbarrow. So here is one of my favorite gardens. You know what? Wait a minute. Look at all the blossoms. This is my nectarine tree. Do you know I still have frozen nectarines in the freezer? And I told Gary I'm gonna make ice cream. So I won't have nectarines and fruit until probably June. So it's going to take that long, but that's okay. I'm really excited with that. Nothing on the apple trees yet. I keep looking. It's got the right spurs on it. I'm hoping to get a couple because these were planted from seed. I have no idea what they'll taste like, but maybe I'll get a couple. If not, maybe next year. All right, now let's look at my favorite garden. I haven't done anything, so it's not going to look any different than last month, except I'm picking broccoli spurs constantly. We had a whole bunch yesterday. I actually put it in some meat that I made for tacos and chopped it up. So it worked out really good, but I use it for all kinds of stuff. So I haven't hit in here yet. I'm still debating, am I going to take out the tomatoes or am I going to leave them? I could cut them all the way back and see what happens. I'm not sure yet. So when I get in here, I will decide. All of them are doing really good. And again, here, you always see me do this. I am propagating different geraniums down here, so I don't have to think about watering them. I water the totes, and the totes feed and water my propagating geraniums. Got some peas starting here. Do I have any peas yet? Oh, I got flowers. Oh, and strawberries. Look. Oh, I just walked into a cobweb. Okay, hold on. Look at that. So I've got, you know, my red vein sorrel, my green sorrel, my beautiful red vein. That I'm going to keep because I use that all the time. That's healthy. It's got a lot of red in it, which really is good for us. I put that in green drinks and sometimes I chop it up in the salad and do different things. But this hasn't changed. Hopefully in the next week or two, maybe a few weeks, I'll change it there. This, I still want to get a tree. I want this moved out. But now it's growing so beautiful again. So, oh, there goes a squirrel. So we'll see what happens with that. Here I'm going to do mainly flowers, though I think I'm going to let some tomatoes grow. It's the easiest thing for me to do. I've got to get the grasses out because that's going to take away from the tomatoes. Hold on. How in the world did a piece of turmeric get there? You know what? I'll put that in my pocket. I must have dumped some water in here. Wouldn't that be something? Maybe that's why things grow and I don't know. I was dumping some of the soil and water in there. There must have been that little piece of turmeric because that's what I've been working on here. And it's funny. This is what I eat. And I eat about 3 or 4 pieces a day. And it has been doing wonders for me. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I have so much turmeric, I eat it daily now. There's a pomegranate tree coming back. So I'm not going to do watermelon in here. I grew 1 watermelon last year, and I think I'm going to go with tomatoes. I think that will be the best thing for me. But, you know, I can change it up as I want. The ponds are looking really good. See what happens later, what I want to do with them. I would like to clean them up and do some more work in there. But the problem is the raccoons come, they pull everything out. They swim at night and they drive me crazy. So we'll see. But I've got my rosemary I planted, and look at all the geraniums. I've got these pink ones. I've got those purpley ones. I planted all that. It's just me propagating these plants there, and they turn into big, beautiful bushes. And then, of course, I've got a great big pomegranate in there too, along with my sugar cane that's in there. So we'll see what happens as I get to it. So did we see everything here? We did. Let's walk over here. Yes, we still have our pile and we use a little bit. Now here, I haven't done too much, but there's one that I'm not done with. So I need to get this out. This is the soil I work with. That needs to be picked. But you know that The hummingbirds love that. They're going to build their nest out of the fuzz. There's no fuzz on this really to speak of. Oh, there's a little bit here. But right now, the birds and all the insects use it. This is sow thistle. Now, I do use the leaves. I can put them in a salad or put them in my green drink. But I do want to get really something much more productive in there when I'm ready. Celery. This is in a pot. This could be moved anywhere I want. I got a carrot. Look. Oh, yeah, I feel a carrot down there. Look, look, look. I actually moved it here. I found it in one of the upside down containers that I was cleaning out, and I stuck it in there when it was real tiny, and it's growing. Again, all for the birds. This is the one I have to do. There's nothing in here. So all this is pretty much done. This I will redo, and then I'll get serious on that. I actually have a zucchini I might plant in there within the next few days. Again, more sow thistle. This is all done. It's ready to grow at any time. I could put a squash in here right away. And then this is just, my green sorrel, and I love that. I'm not going to have too much on the bottom. I want to keep this open so when squirrels run over here, they're not going to have a lot of places to hide. Yes, they can go into the chair, but if you put too many pots, they can get behind it, and then no hawks can see them, and they think they're more protected. So I'm going to make it more difficult for the ground squirrels. We're not talking tree squirrels. We're talking ground squirrels. Again, the tomatoes, that's okay, and all this will be trimmed back, but the tomatoes stay. As long as they're throwing tomatoes, that will stay. I've got tomatoes here. You see that? Look at my tomatoes. That's a whole bunch of tomatoes in there. This came up, it's a volunteer, and it's staying. I hope you can see it. Look at that. It's all full in there. So that's staying, and I can freshen up. See, there's look at that, a pitcher in here. And I open this up. Oh, it's empty. It was stuffed with leaves. You know what happens to that? The earthworms go in there and they feed on it. And as they're feeding on it, I make sure I can get water in there too. It feeds the plant. That's why this tomato plant's growing so good. Red vein sorrel. This has got a little bit of everything. There's green Swiss chard, a reddish Swiss chard. I've got garlic chives here. And again, this will go. And a tomato plant that came up. We'll see. Not sure what I'm going to do on that. Here's our friendly little lizard. More different Swiss chard. This I love. This is staying. Look how red that is. And I use this too, whether it's a green drink, stir fry, or even making salads. Now I had plans on this. So plans have changed. These tomatoes came up. How can I pull them out? They look beautiful. I don't have to do anything. I can continue on with my life to get other things done around here. I'm going to leave them. And I can change at any time. I had planned on doing some squash in here and maybe doing some cucumbers in here. And look how beautiful they look. And look what I did. I've got gladiolas spotted in here. So we'll see if they make it. Look, gladiolas. This one didn't come up yet. But look at all the flowers. So we'll see. If the tomatoes don't grow that good, then I've got other tomatoes I will plant in here. And I know what they are. So right now we're going to leave it. Do I have more here? Yes, I do. Another gladiola. It's from when the 99-cent store went out. Look at that. So life changes. Hey, if the garden is going to do something for you where you don't have any work to do, take advantage of it. That's the way I look at it. I took the hood off of something. That's the hood from the totes. So then the nasturtium came up. I thought at first it was a poppy, but no. Look at the flower on the nasturtium. That's how the hummingbirds feed. They feed in here and they suck the nectar out of the back. Is that not cool? It came up in here, and this is my garlic growing. I showed you guys. It's doing really good, the garlic. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it. Nasturtium is running. It is leaving. The onions are doing really good. Got those lows, I think. So that is doing fantastic. So I've got a mix of different onions. You probably saw when I bought it. It's this. Let me get it out of here. See? So that's what's growing. And I leave it back here so I can remind myself what it is. That's those. And then these were from the 99-cent store. I haven't done anything here. This is what I should gut. Change those two top totes. Clean this all out and get cucumbers here. I have grown a ton of cucumbers here. And being that I've got this all around here, I can tool this whole thing in if I have to. And you don't have to tool in everything. You just have to make it where the tracks, the way they're coming in, the squirrels, and if they have to go over the tool, they don't want to go over it. A lot of this has to be changed out. I've got eggplant that's in here, and it is flowering like mad. This is a celery. I don't know if I'll leave it, but right now the eggplant is flowering. Again, more sow thistle. See, this is what they build their nests out of, the hummingbirds. Hopefully we'll see some around here because they've been constantly picking off the fuzz because they are building nests. And then I've got the milkweed. Again, nothing done here. Nothing at all done in here. This is a purple tree colored. I'm going to stake this up and I'm going to fix that and put that in here. Do you see something different? Do you see something different? Come on. Oh, I hear some of you say yes, yes, yes. That's an avocado tree. It's the one from down there because we're clearing everything out. I've been dragging things around. Gary's dragged some things around. And I planted the avocado tree here. Normally I compost them, but look how beautiful the trunk is. And I thought, you know, nothing is in here right now. So we literally, it was in 3 inches of soil, lifted it up, it didn't weigh anything, sat it in there with a whole bunch more matter from cleaning up the yard, then just dropped it there and just shoveled out from one tote to another on top. And it looks like a happy plant. I think it looks beautiful. I'm gonna leave it. And the holes, you can see on this one how far up they are. So the holes are up on the side. I don't think it's gonna set root anywhere. That's gonna be great. And then this I was gonna pull out. It's a celery hybrid. It's gonna go to seed. And Gary doesn't want me to pull it out. Another lizard. Yep. He told me he loves it. It's a very strong flavor. It almost tastes like cilantro, but it's got a mix of a celery and parsley. And he said he wants me to keep that plant. So the pots right now are just sitting there. I'll get some other plants in there, maybe smaller plants, and I'll get more compost in there or just go around the yard and clean up everything. And I'll leave, of course, the sow thistle for now. And I'll get something small in there. I'm gonna leave that, and that will be fixed up too. Anything from this post on, except for maybe the car, is gonna go. Oh, maybe I'll put the cars over there. I've got ideas. So all this is being moved out. A lot of this is just weeds in there, but nothing from here on. So my garden on this wall will start there and come all the way across to this pole. This is where Gary was once going to put a gate or something, and we'll see. I don't know. But right now that's going to go. We can take a quick walk there. Then the blueberries, I don't know if they'll make it, but I got onions. I got more red vein sorrel. They're flowering. I hope it's getting enough sun. No, it can't be the sun problem. And the other ones that are in there are still so small. So I don't know if they'll make it. There's one there and there's one back there. Remember, they've been kind of in a pot for too long and it didn't work out that good. So it just got planted. Whatever happens, happens. I don't care. And then of course I do collect the water. And when there's water in there, I can re-water in here. All right, let's spin back around. Let's walk down here. Oh, you know what? I went to Lowe's the other day and they had all these succulents for 25 cents. I'm going to replant them in my method. It just so happens I've got this that's a cactus mix. I make my own. And this cactus mix, we got, oh my gosh, I think it was 75% off. But I'm going to make my own cactus mix and I'm going to replant these. If you want to see me do it, just tell me. I mean, I don't know what you're going to get out of it, but if you want to see me replant them, I want to get them out of the pots. They actually looked worse when I first picked them up, but I thought, well, this one cost me more than $1, right? Let me move this over. What did this one cost me? $2. I splurged because I didn't have any of these. But $1 a piece for most of these? There was nothing in there the other day, and I watered it, gave it a little bit of attention, and it's growing. I don't even know what it is. So if you want to see me do it, I could sit down and pot them all up. This one I like because it's fuzzy. Yeah, it's fuzzy leaf, and I'm going to propagate a lot of the leaves too. And then this one, they had the bowl. And I thought it looked really nice. I mean, look at it, $3, and it's got so many cactus. I didn't have any red ones or purple ones. And I thought, you know, I'm going to go ahead and get it. So again, if you want to see me repot them, just tell me and I'll find a place to sit and repot them and you can watch me. More lettuce, look at this, marigold. All right, so these are the tomato plants you saw me pick up and I need to get them out of here. They all have to be planted somewhere. I've got some succulents back there that I'm propagating. And there they are. And I want to get cuttings off of them as quick as possible too. This is the small 100s, the sweet 100s, and they will grow really good. So I need to figure out where I want to put some tomatoes. I think this is the same. No, this is the patio one. I don't know what a baby boomer is. So I've got that one. This is another 100s. And this is the San Marzano, I believe. And there's a whole bunch in there. So I want to get that planted. These are some cuttings I'm working on. Some are making it, some are not. They might. Those are all making it. This is lettuce seed. And if I do this, they end up falling in and growing lettuce everywhere. And then these are the strawberries I bought. They're growing strawberries. And that's got to go into my thing. I don't know how many plants are in each one. So I got to get in there and start separating them. And then I got to get it in my strawberry tower. And then this is the soil I mixed up. I just put it there. And I've been working out of the wheelbarrow. I'm moving things around. I want to replant that. See, this is turmeric sitting here because I've been taking turmeric out, figuring what I want to eat and what I want to plant. And that's what's going on there. I'd like to take that out. This is a native plant. And I saw that these things can reach like 8 foot tall. So I might try to dig that out, put it in a pot, and maybe stick it over in my pond. I'm not sure. But all this is going, more lizards. This pepper plant I'm going to move. I hope it lives. If not, I'm going to start some more. This is my black cobra. I've had it for years. But most of this is just kind of stuff I don't care about. See, that will be composted. There's some walking onions. I want to move this. These totes are fantastic. These black stackable totes will never break. They are so good that these are the ones that last the longest. You'll have these for easy 10 years if you put them in your yard to grow in. They cost a little bit more than the regular standard 18-gallon ones. Those cost $7, $6 and change. Sometimes they put them on sale. I think Walmart had them on sale. Yes, because I bought a couple. They had them on sale for $5 and I bought a few. Those generally cost about $10, but they're well worth the money. See, everything's gone. Cool, cool, cool. Look at this, all gone. Making my life easier, because I want to have gardens in different areas. There's no reason here. And then Gary can have this to drive through if he wants. This will work out better. All this is going to be moved. I'm still working on it. The cabbage is trying to make a comeback. I really think I'm going to compost it. Look at this. I got another cabbage head. I do. I don't care if it's small. It's really nice to add to a salad or a stir fry. That's been the problem. I got to get through this and decide which totes I'm going to keep. Kind of smashed them up. Sometimes the way I work, I bang them up. If they look like they're going, because they've been here for quite a few years, and I don't want them, I'll just go ahead and trash them and get new ones. Like I said, they just had them on sale for $5. But totes are the best way to grow, in my opinion, for me, because I can do one garden at a time. So I can come out here and work on one tote, and in an hour, I've got a garden going. If there was a bed that big, I'd have to get the whole bed prepared in one way to grow the same plants that can grow together. Companion planting, that means they have to have the same environment. You can't plant something that needs something else and plant them together in one big raised bed. But when you have a whole bunch of these lined up, you can plant anything, because each bed will be planted up for the designated plant that's going inside that one, going inside that one, and in that one. So if this was one bed and you wanted to plant peppers, tomatoes, zucchini, first of all, they're going to all fight for the nutrients if you put 3 of those in there. Number one, peppers don't like to be wet all the time. Tomatoes are okay. Zucchini needs a lot of water. How can you plant them together by putting so much water in? If this was one bed for the zucchini, you're going to rot out your peppers or mess up your tomatoes. That's why I love doing them in individual beds and individual containers, because you have control. It doesn't have control of you. Keep that in mind. We can get more into details another time. Let's go into the front garden. I haven't done anything. I tell you that every month, don't I? And it's still growing. I haven't done anything but wrap some tulle around here when that little stinking ground squirrel and tree squirrel was eating up my beautiful plant. Remember that? A couple months ago, took a little piece of tulle, wrapped it around, and now I have it for me to eat. So what's going on in here? I've got red vein sorrel. I've got geraniums I planted in here. I've got milkweed for the butterflies. Walking onions growing. You know, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for my chamomile that's going to come up. It grows every year, not quite yet. More geraniums. I'm going to clean this up and get something else in here. I used to grow a lot of zucchini here, but here's the problem. Oh, these pine trees have gotten so big. You see where the sun is? It blocks out the sun most of the day until it gets into that part of the sky. Then I get a few hours of sun, and I just don't think it's enough for zucchini. But I'll see what I'm going to do in here. I did do tomatoes, but I've got other places that the tomatoes will work better. Obviously, this does really good. Maybe I'll do more brassicas there. The table I'm going to clean up. We're going to have to talk about that. Those are the dish pans you pick up for $4 and change from Walmart, and you can grow a ton of stuff. I have totally neglected them. So there's nothing to talk about right now. This is going to flower. Oh, the birds will love it. Oh, canary wings. Look at that. Baby parrots, as some of you call it. Oh, there's 4 of them. You probably didn't hear them. They live around here. They're wild. Yes, the ones you find in the pet stores. All right, so here I've got some radishes. Went to seed. I will pick these and put these in a salad, and I will get new radishes growing. You'll see me when I do that. Then I've got just grass seeds are coming up, and there is some other things. What is this? No, brassicas. And then I've got celery. I'm not happy with any of the celery. It's red. I want some plain old green celery. Just bird seed. This is a funny story. This is a grass seed that Gary wanted. I don't know what that is. Anyways, going back to this. This is a grass seed Gary wanted. Do you really want to hear the story? So I took him on a trip to the zoo. We went to the LA Zoo because I knew the curator there. And I said, we're going to go get a free tour in the back. We'll see the monkeys, and we'll be able to see all the baby stuff they're raising and everything. So we did that. Then when we were walking around the zoo, Gary said, oh, panicville? I forgot how he calls this. Look at the grass. You don't have that growing. The birds love it. And I said, Gary, it's up the hill. That's okay. I can get it. So he climbed up, this is in the zoo, to get a handful of the grass. So I sat down on the bench, and here comes the security guard. This is after, thank goodness, we went through our tour. The guy knows me. If they ever found out about it, which they didn't, but if they ever did, they know me very well. They probably figured I would have done it. The guard comes up to me. I'm sitting on the bench at the zoo, and he says, do you know that guy? Nope. That's what I said. I shook my head. Nope. He says, hey, he yells at him, get down from there. He was up a hill in the zoo. So Gary comes down with a handful of grass. He goes, what are you doing? He said, I just wanted a handful of grass. I want to grow this. And he just looked at him. He probably has never had anybody do this at the zoo. This has got to be over 30 years ago. And he goes, keep off that hill. Don't you do that. And then he walked away. And he left. And I was laughing. But Gary got his grass. He planted it around for the birds. And now it pops up everywhere. And you know what? They do eat it. The spice finches that come in will eat this. It's got a tiny, soft seed. I bet you the goldfinches eat it too. And that's what he wanted. Whoops, is going to grow in there too. Maybe I'll move this into the bird garden and set up a whole new one when I'm ready. But yes, it grows all over here now. It grows all over the zoo, but we just didn't have it in this area. But the LA Zoo in Griffith Park had it, so he wanted some. It's just funny. Like I said, it was over 30 years ago. Gonna clean this up too, and I probably will put dish pans. I'll show you how we do all this with the irrigation tubing. I can drape tulle over that. I can leave this and just use this for sunshade. We got a lot to talk about as spring grows. Oh, you need water. I can see that. This really, I don't know. It's going to be so tight in there. It's just a brassica. I'm leaving a lot of the seeds for the birds, so I'm not going to mess with any of this right now. I'm so debating if I want to move these black totes because these things have been here forever. They last forever, and all I have to do is get the soil out and then move them around, have this open, and maybe put pots here with geraniums, with flowers that I can move around the yard. Because these totes can be in direct sunlight, and they're a 5, perfectly safe to grow in. They're food grade, and they're just fantastic. So I'm kind of debating on what I want to do. Again, it all goes back because of these beautiful pine trees. We did take one out years ago. The electric company came out and demanded they really needed to take it out. So they made a chair back there to sit on. I asked them when they cut it. I said, can you shape it? He goes, sure. So they shaped it into a chair. They were tempted to take this one out, though maybe I should have. But I really do like them. This is a home for so many birds. The hummingbirds nest in here. The bush tits nest in here. All the birds hang out in here. The tree squirrel's got a nest somewhere up there. The woodpeckers come in here. It really makes this house feel like a cabin. Look at the windows on the top, and you look out and you can just still see the view when you're sitting in the right spot. You feel like you're up in the hills. And you know, a lot of you think I am, but I'm really not. I'm in the city. I'm just off the city in a hill. So it looks really nice. So when I go shopping, I'm literally minutes from the store. But you've got your own little secluded area, which my mother hates because she thinks I don't have enough neighbors, and I think I have too many. Oh my goodness, I'd live in the middle of the forest if I could. There's the palm tree. It's a baby. Gary said if that thing gets loose, he's going to be furious. And there's Mom. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go down here. Let's go see what's going on here. We trimmed this back a little bit because it got too wild, but look how fast it popped up. I've got some geraniums here. I love geraniums. It's unreal because you can propagate them so easy, and that is just wonderful. Still cleaning up here because I have to get to all the ginger and turmeric. My house plants. Another cutting I picked up last year. It was a little piece. Look how nice it grew in there. I've got another cutting in the back. So everything is doing really good here. And this is the ginger. See the ginger? I have to get to this. I've been getting to it. Every day I've been grabbing one and doing one. So I got to get the ginger out, freeze what I want, and plant back what I don't want. And then this will be, again, ginger and turmeric, but I'm going to have more in the back as well. See, I've been grabbing them, taking them to the backyard, separating what I want to eat, and then eating what I want. And it works out fantastic. What I did here, this is from a tote lid. The pink reminds me and tells me that I planted turmeric in here. And then that limey, greeny yellow tells me that it's ginger. Once it grows, of course, it looks so different. But this has worked out really good. So I'm going to get to this. You can see it's sparse because I've been pulling things out and moving them around. All right, let's go through here. You all know Gary's garden's down here. You see his papayas. You know what's beautiful? Gary planted this whole hillside with elephant food. This wasn't here. It all started with having some elephant food here. And he started taking pieces, oh my goodness, 15 years ago? I could be off a year or two here. And he started putting them everywhere and watering them just a little bit because it doesn't need a lot of water. Now we have a hillside of elephant food, and what's beautiful, I don't see any right now, but sometimes you walk through here and you'll see 50 spice finches. They love this, the birds, they hang out in it. It's really cool. And they've got some honeysuckle down there. Gary did plant that one a while ago. You can barely see it. Let me see if I can zoom in for a minute. I think it's hard to see, but the red flowers are honeysuckle. Let me back up. And that's it. The other day, I saw deer. At night, they were roaming around the hillside on my cameras. It was beautiful. Let's go into the bird garden. And then also, I was here this morning having coffee, and Zoe was patrolling and getting rid of the squirrels. She loves sitting in the bird garden and patrolling and making sure that the squirrels do not get the seeds from the birds. All right, let's go in the bird garden. I am still working in here. This will be a forever work area. I mean, I'm gonna constantly be doing stuff. Here, I am starting to move things around. Like, a lot of this is my kitchen compost, and it gets sat here, and it just kind of turns the soil as it sits here, but that's okay. It's all usable. In here, I'm gonna clear all this out and make this into another part of the bird garden. In other words, I'll be feeding more birds here. This will be going very soon. I've been taking the soil out. This is gonna be composted. This is canary seed. And the birds don't actually eat it. See what it looks like? I don't know why, but you get it in the bird food, but they don't eat it. They won't eat it green. At least they haven't found it, and they haven't discovered it, I guess. This will all be going because this tree collard is dying back. What happened here, there's Gary's garden way down there. See, it's kind of rotted out. It went through the tote. Actually grew on the other side of the tote, went through the handle area. There was like a handle, and then it broke, and it's been going here, and it's done. I took a lot of pieces off. This is kind of hard. And I'm starting to grow them, but I have so much of it. So at some point, when I really get in here, I'm going to trim back the dragon fruit because we got so much we couldn't even eat it all. I gave some to neighbors, and it's funny. They didn't even know what it was. So I don't even know if they ate it. It was like, what is this? But I'm going to trim a little bit of that back. We've got the hoops here from the rebar. And then in here, I'm going to make some different types of bird feeders, maybe ones that you can use too. It'll be a little different. I've got a bird cage I'm going to move here. It's on the other side of the yard. I'll show you that in a minute. It's that beautiful big red-tailed hawk. I don't know if you can see it across there. Look at that. We've had the golden eagle come through here sometimes. Gorgeous. So this will be set up very nice. Plus, once this is all done, I'll have my view back. Because that is a beautiful view if I want to sit out here in the evening or even on a nice clear day. I know one minute we have clouds and it cools down and looks like it's going to rain. The next minute it looks okay. So I'm trying to rush through before we get any rain. Now these, I planted some walking onions. This is doing good. This has all been redone. I love these totes. They're probably, you know, time gets by me, but it's either 8 or 9 years old and they're doing really nice. So I'm going to be planting in containers, not just in the totes. Like here, I've got the pineapple sage. It's in a container, walking onions, more walking onions, geraniums. That's got my chocolate mint. This has got the orange mint. It's underneath. It's going to start to come back. The birds ate a lot of that down, so I've got it in here. See, it's coming back. The orange mint's coming back in there. It's coming back in here. I don't think there's anything in there yet. This, I'm going to gut it, and I'm thinking of making a little cactus garden on top. Got a lot of different succulents, so we'll see. This, I think, is a weed. And then I've got, look at this. Seeds fly everywhere. Swiss chard, but that's doing okay. A little tight. There's too many onions in there, so they get root bound. Red vein sorrel. This again, I'm going to cut this out and compost this. Great for composting. I could chop it up, let it dry, and put it on top as a mulch, but they're not eating it. And so it's just all butted up against the tote, so that will go there. Let's see. This, of course, I told you I'm going to dump this and move this to the other side of the yard. Here I'm trying to debate. It looks like it's struggling here. This is the hibiscus I bought. I believe it was from Home Depot. They're real pretty. Maybe I'll end up putting them in the ground. And then I've got mushroom plant. Now this one made it. See, I don't want this. We use this just as fertilizer, plant food. But this did good. This is a mushroom plant. Again, more canary seed. And then I'm gonna just let my chocolate mint grow in here. And this needs a good trimming. This is the Hummingbirds lunch. Oh, this is a propagating one that I did. They propagate so easy. There's a little one here I propagated, see? Isn't that cool? So this will be done, I think it might be done in the next month or so. Look at this. A baby spice finch. I don't know if you can see them on the back there. Oh, they want to come in and eat. My blanket flower, I'm still trying to grow them. And they start to grow and then they kind of fizzle out. So I'm not sure yet. They might be more of a deserty plant. Maybe they like it drier and I've been watering it too much. It's been too damp. I'm not sure. But this plant is going to be over 2 years old. It just keeps growing. So I'm really happy with it. I'll keep trying. I don't put a lot of effort into it. I'm going to change this. I've changed one already. Oh my gosh. These are the clothes racks you get from Walmart. They're only like $8 and you could do all kinds of stuff with it. So you'll see maybe on the next garden tour what I am going to do with this. And this is great because it's on a stand and when it rains, we can move the feeders in. See, it's covered here. So we move it and they don't have to eat in the rain. And I've just been moving it around. But this might go over there and then kind of move around. We'll see how I set that up. This, of course, is where all the feeders have been. Even that little cage. My mother got me that tiny little cage. And it was the decorative thing. And look how the birds go in and out. They're right in front of me. See, I'm right here. And I've got a hummingbird right here. Is this not beautiful? Oh, I got a carpenter bee. I don't know if you can see it. The horsefly-like carpenter bee. I could try to walk up to it. It's on the flower here. Nobody, there he is. They just came out. They've been flying around and they follow me around. I'll tell you a funny story. My neighbor got stuck. She couldn't get in her house and she called one day and she said, I need you or Gary to come down. There's this bee, it won't let me in, it's gonna sting me. It was one of these horsefly-like carpenter bees, and Gary went over there and he said, no, they're so curious. They come right up to you and look at you. He's not gonna do anything. And she wanted it out, but Gary just shushed it away and she got back in her house. They really are so intelligent. Look at all the birds. That they really do follow you around. See what you can get? I got that wooden one at the thrift store. And I put, look at that, I put a bowl in there that would fit, and now the birds feed in that. Let me see if I can zoom in for a minute. Isn't that cool? Now, why would I do that? It protects the birds. I do have to freshen up a lot of the fountains that aren't working. There's a beautiful fountain I made out of cement back there and all the dragon fruit plants all over it. So a lot of this is going to be all straightened out. My sweet pea that Gary brought me home, this is the sweet pea bush, is doing fantastic. This thing flowered all winter, along with the hummingbirds' lunch, all winter. And now the salvias are coming back. And the emu bush, the yellow one, is starting to flower now. We're not in spring yet, but it's already throwing yellow flowers. See the salvia? This has been an amazing winter. We'll see, though. We're not quite done with it yet. But that's everything growing there. And look at the fig trees. We're going to trim it down. It's too tall. And I have been doing cuttings off of it. The strawberry fig tree is to the right. And the other one is to the left. And they're both good. The strawberry one is just so red inside and sweet. Tastes like you're eating strawberries. The other one is real sweet too. It's a little pinker. And the birds love it. We love it. So I've done some cuttings off of that because this is a perfect time to do cuttings because the plant wants to grow. And when you cut it and you put it in pots and keep it well watered, they're growing and it's fantastic. But I will be getting some off the strawberry plant. Let's turn around for a minute here. You've seen the videos. This is a big go-to for me right now. And I know I've done 2 already on these. This is the original one. These are like mini gardens. Yet you can start your seeds in here. And I do have to talk more about it because some of you have been telling me you've been running and getting the big 18-gallon ones that are high. You're going to defeat the purpose of what we're trying to do. You can do it. It's perfect for a greenhouse. But what you're going to end up doing is the plants may not survive as good as you think. You want it low and you want the plants to have airflow. And I'll discuss that more in probably the next 1 or 2. This one is just for my seeds. I've got dill going in here and I've got 1 pepper plant in there. And lettuce, I'm ready to harvest. Yes, it can get bigger, but if I want to make a small bowl of lettuce, let's say to add to my tacos or something I'm eating, this is done. This has been out here for what, 2 weeks? Lettuce is instant gratification once you start growing it. And we'll get more into that later. And then here, I've got walking onions, and this is a geranium. Isn't that beautiful? These are just beautiful plants. Let's keep going because I'm going to end up spending too much time in here. We should do this separately. The birds are just all over and the flowers. I don't know if this papaya will ever get big. It's been through so much. It's in a pot, but there's no bottom. So it could get big. It has the potential to do it, but it may not be getting enough sun. It's been hit by animals and everything so many times. We'll see. Then I've got all my brassicas. Look at this. This is just a hybrid brassica. I use it. It's got to be trimmed. Lots of yellow leaves, lots of powdery mildew. You compost that. Once you pull it off, it's going to compost down, make you beautiful soil. Don't throw it away. But it's your garden. You can always do what you want. Then this is just the work area, and I should work with you and show you how I do the fountains here. Nothing much going on here, but this is my favorite. And I'll tell you something. I got to get a life because I end up putting my camera here. Look at this. And I'm watching my lettuce at night. This has been fantastic. Please, if you have a problem growing lettuce, watch the videos because I've got all these tips on how I did the table and how I did that. And I probably am going to be building 10 to 15, if not 20 of these. Let's keep going. Here I have a lot of work to do. The Mexican sage is dying back. I really don't want to cut it yet because there's so many beautiful flowers, but look, the base is trying to all grow new. So really what needs to be done is it's got to be cut back almost to the base and let all the new growth grow. So I will be doing that soon. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? This is the hummingbird lunch. I don't remember what this one's called. Gary got this one at Home Depot. It looks similar, but it's not the same plant. Anytime a bird has to get its beak in there, the hummingbirds love it. Tree collard. Can you imagine? Those are not that old. They're just over a year old. Look how big they are. I don't know if you remember, I got my auger out one day and dropped in 3 or 4 little pieces there, and they're massive. But that's okay. I want to go across a little bit more, and my goal is to go across the whole back. And then I want to have it, of course, in other places too. Let's swing around here. Not much here. I've got some milkweed for the butterflies and whatever, and then walking onions. I want to clean a lot of this up. You know, it's just me working in the garden, so it takes time because I'm going to have to let you know this is the only thing in life I'm doing. Right. I'm doing the garden, and I'm being, you know, funny because I am got so much to do, still work, and the point also is the hummingbirds. They've been coming in by the thousands. And it seems like every time I start to work in the garden, I check my cameras and the feeders are almost empty. So I have to run and clean those too. It's just been oh my gosh, I feel like a hamster on a wheel, just spinning around. But the point is I am getting things done, and I'm going at my pace. Now, I want you to see this. This has got a lot of bugs on it. Now, there's a couple things you could do if you didn't like it, besides washing it off. Just cut it out. The bugs are only attacking where the flowers are and the seeds are going to be. I'm leaving this for the birds because that's what the goldfinches and the other birds eat. See, it's going to seed. So I'm going to leave that for now and cut it out later. I'm collecting all the yellow and gold leaves because that is gold for me. I make all my own soil. Sometimes it's just as easy as throwing some pots around, throwing the leaves in there and water it, pretend there's a plant in there, and then when you need some extra compost, you just grab the bucket out and dump it in whatever container you are growing in, because this is what makes soil. If you go and read potting mix, it will tell you forest matter, wood chips they've broke down, and then you don't know what else they're doing. So this way I know there's no chemicals in here. It's growing just by nature. Is it going to get as big as some of the grocery store heads of, let's say, cauliflower and broccoli? No, because they're fed with all kinds of chemicals and plant foods they do. I'm doing it naturally. I am so happy with a small head of, let's say, broccoli. I don't need it big. I know I grew it, and that's all that matters to me. I was going to cut this out. I'm debating. I trimmed it up. And this, I believe, is that traveler's tomato I grew, and I don't want to grow it. But here's the thing. It's in there. It's trying to make a comeback, and being that I'm not planting anything right now in here, I might just go ahead and leave it. It kind of wandered into the lemon verbena last year, and I was picking tomatoes out of it. So I might do it. It's just a big tomato, and my thing is small tomatoes. Lots of work here. Let's see. This eventually I'll trim out because I have to scoot through here. But I've been eating this. I've been making coleslaw out of it. This again is a tree collard. I make salad out of it. When I pick lettuce that I'm growing now in my containers, I come here and I pick the youngest, sweetest leaves, chop them up and put it in my salad. So, and I make stir frying different things with it. And rice, Gary loves it chopped up and fried up and then added to rice with all kinds of spices and stuff. So we use it all the time. It's just that it's doing so well. It kind of fell over out of that little 18-gallon tote, and it set root there. So for now, I'm going to leave it. But it is in the way. But you know what? I can live with that. So you've seen everything there. More walking onions. These are cuttings. See, there's the flower I showed you before. Is that not beautiful? That's a cutting. I believe they're all cuttings from that one. I did a whole bunch. I'll see when this one opens up. And I can get those in pots and get them going. Oh, I hope we do have sun. But you know what? We can use some rain. They're not talking about a lot of rain, just some rain. Got to get this emptied. Seeds start coming up. This is my wheelbarrow, and I need it to mix more soil because I want to get tomatoes planted in there too. Tree collard doing fantastic. That one looks a little wonky. That's my purple tree collar. There's my table I work on too. I propagate a little bit there. It's doing okay. Some of it got chewed by rabbits and birds, but I'm leaving it. Once they set root, I can cover it with tulle, and then everybody will stop chewing it. So for now, as long as it sets root, it doesn't bother me what's going on. Let the birds do what they want. There's another tree collard. This is going to be moved to the other side of the yard, where I told you I'm going to feed birds. I don't plan on feeding any birds here. I'm going to get the trough here, get that green tote moved. The wheelbarrow, of course, can be moved out. I'm going to leave this. Now this may be protecting my papayas. As you know, they grew in the 18-gallon tote, and we lost a couple due to age and probably cold and stuff, so we cut them out. This seems to be doing all right. It needs some leaves trimmed, but I wanted to protect the base, just like I'm doing in my little miniature gardens I'm making. The base is important for the plant to think it's warmer. So I planted all these geraniums in this container, and I'm letting it protect that. It's separate. It's got its own container. The papayas are growing in here, see? But we did cut the bottom and we let the roots go out. So look at the big papayas I've got. Is that not cool? So I really am fine with having, let's say, 4, papaya plants. That's more than enough here. It shouldn't even be growing in here, but it's doing really good and I'm happy with it. But that was my experiment because they were completely dying back. There were no leaves on them last year. And now that I've planted the geraniums around there, I think it's kind of giving the base of the plant shelter from cold and heat. And it works really good. And this geranium grows like a weed. I've got to do a lot of cuttings on this too. It's really pretty. You don't have to water it all the time. It's just takes care of itself. So I think it's done really good, and I will do more cuttings on that. And the same thing here, I've got things to do here. This is turmeric. I want it out. I have been eating so much turmeric, about a piece like that a day, that it's done something I haven't even talked about yet. So we'll talk about that another time. Good for my health. I can't believe it. So that's going to be emptied. The only problem with doing it in a tote is I can't lift this, all right? So I'm going to have to dig it out, get all the turmeric out and get them in pots. In pots, I can tip it, take out my turmeric, harvest it that way, plant back what I want, and it works perfect. In that, you have to dig. And when you dig, you break it to pieces. So it's not worth it doing that way. But here's the problem. I had so much growing, I didn't know what to do with it. And I threw a bunch in there and it grew like mad. So that is done. That will be coming out soon. This is chocolate mint, peppermint, chocolate mint, doing good. And my moringa, this died back. That's my beautiful purple, curly Russian red kale. But that's okay. I've got cuttings growing everywhere, and this will be taken out. I probably got choked out by the mint. But like I said, I've got cuttings and new plants growing. So I didn't lose the plant, just this one. So this will be taken out very soon, I hope. And then I'll let my moringa grow. Look at that. I got green leaves, and I use that in my green drink. There's Gary's room with, oh my gosh. I'm not going to go in there right now. So many dragon fruit he's done. I don't know if you can see me. Unbelievable. Anyway, so that's what's going on here. Oh my goodness. Just so beautiful. Let's go through here. Oh, there's that bee again. I don't know if it's the same one or there's a whole bunch, but he follows me around. The rosemary is flowering. Now, let me tell you what's going on here a little bit. Gary has trimmed everything underneath. This keeps a lot of rodents out because if an owl or a hawk goes by, they can see them and they have less place to hide and less way to move around. We can eliminate some of the running rodents. So he has decided to trim everything up. He's not taking anything out, but see how you can see the ground now? So I can spot some stuff in there if I want. Look at this. Can you see him? Yep, he's following us around. Now, what is she doing with the camera? So here, it just looks so beautiful and clean. This is his project. He's going to be getting to that soon. And then, of course, I've got the grapefruit plant. Let's see, what are we going to look at here? The rainbow garden, I haven't changed anything yet. Getting ready to do something with this. Right now, I'm just starting seeds. So I'll be getting to that soon. Let me see. But I'm not sure yet what I'm going to plant in here. It could be zucchini, it could be tomatoes. We'll get to it very soon. I'm really happy with it. And we haven't put the gazebo back because I actually like it open, but it may go back. You know what, let's step over here for a minute. I can't really talk about this. I know you've been looking at it as I walk by. Do you see something different on the dog kennel? That's the double one. I want to do a separate video on that. There's my small one. That's not small. It's 6 foot tall, 8 foot long. I'm growing so much in there. I love it. I haven't even packed it yet. This is the two that are put together. Remember, you gain an extra 4 feet when you put 2 of them together. Gary asked me, is it okay if he changed it? And I said, you know what? Yes, because I can show you that this is the way that one came. The standard, what you buy. Oh, Gary moved the chair here. He must be doing something. Oh, I do not like those. All right, anyways, it's a locust, grasshopper. This is the way it comes. It's got this top that is solid for the rain. So this way no rain goes through, but you know, I don't mind the rain, but no sun. So he's changed this completely. That's why I don't want to talk about it. He's been recording everything he does. It's not the same. Before you had to dip up and down, all that is gone. So I'm going to tell you, I know he's got it on his computer. He's not done yet. He's still finishing the shade cloth. He had run around to different stores to get a certain shade cloth. If you want to know how he did this, leave a comment underneath. He ends up with 1,000 or 2,000 comments. He's going to have to put it together. He keeps telling me he's going to do it. But this way I can say, can you go read what they want to see? And tell me what you want to see about this. He's wired this up. I've got a tall peak all the way across. The way he's done this, he's changed the latch on this one. You tell him what you want to know, because this is going to give me more sunlight. The whole idea of this one is I'm going to grow tomatoes in here. I'm going to grow cucumbers in here. You have no idea how many cucumbers I lose due to the squirrels that come over and take it off. And yes, I do tool them, but I forget sometimes. They're not going to get anything. You leave your comment underneath. You tell him, I want to see the video. We don't care if it's perfect or not. Just put it up. Tell us what you've done, because I think there's a lot of you that may want to do this with a dog kennel. This garden is so self-contained that nothing is getting in here. I will have to hand pollinate my cucumbers. Yes, I know that, just like I do all my other plants. And let me tell you something. Last year, the only zucchini I got were the ones I hand pollinated. There were not enough bees doing their job, or even native bees. I don't know what happened, but the ones that I hand pollinated made it, and the ones I didn't did not make it. So there's not a problem. It's the easiest thing to do. I can show you again, a little paintbrush, and boom, you're in business. But you message him, and then I'll be getting into this as soon as he's completely done. I still have to paint it. I painted part of that one, and I do want to tool it. I want nothing in here. I want to be able to sit in here later on in the spring and not have those dreaded fruit beetles we've got around here trying to get me and get stuck in my hair. I'm going to sit in there and have coffee. I'm going to set up a chair, a little table. Zoe can come out with me, and we're just going to have a good old time anytime we want. And on top of that, I'm going to have all kinds of plants growing. I love this. We'll get into that separately. Now this, let me show you what I did here, is sow thistle. Every time I work and I find this growing, I move it. So it's sitting right now. Oh, it actually is growing again. I set it inside my pitcher. You know how I do the 2 system, where I compost and place in the pitcher, and it creates plant food and everything for the plants. It works fantastic. Go watch the video. Well, I just sat it in there because it was pretty much empty. The earthworms went ahead and ate everything. Now I have goldfinches coming here. They're taking a bath and drinking here. They're eating there. And then, of course, I've got the sow thistle there. Once it gets serious, of course, it's got to go. But right now, it's staying. Isn't that gorgeous? And then here is the dog kennel. I've gotten quite a few squash off of this all winter. It's a hybrid, but I have more females than males. Now, once I get my zucchini growing, I've planted some here, but they haven't come up yet. Nope, not yet. But they will. And I have it protected with a tulle top, so no birds or anything are going to eat my seedlings. And I do have some growing in the house already, so I could put some in different totes. But this is just has been throwing mainly, like here's a male one, but all these are females. So once I get the zucchini growing, I can cross-pollinate them, and then I'll get the fruit. It's kind of a green, short fruit, but I'll tell you, they're really good. I used one last night. I made tacos, and I grated up. I put it in my ground beef. All right, let's take a peek in here. You see, I've got a lot of milkweed growing. I've got more hummingbird bush. Now you're going to say, let's get in here, my lettuce looks skimpy. It does, but I made a big salad last night, so I removed all the outer leaves. And then, of course, if you're not going to use it, you pull it off. Look at this. I've got lettuce here. I've got lettuce growing in a soap container. It's a 5. It's perfectly safe. One in an ice cream container. One in something that looks like a shoebox. Oh, I have a lettuce here. It went to seed, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. I've got tomatoes growing here. Look. You see the tomato right there? I've got more tomatoes somewhere else. I don't know. They're all over on this. This, I haven't planted anything. This is ready for seed. My thyme made it all through the winter. I've got one here and one here. The one in the pizza garden didn't make it through the winter. These are just cuttings. Let's see. Some of these didn't make it. Not sure what they are. Oh, wild daisies. This is something I picked up on a walk. And these, I don't know if they'll make it. So we'll see. That's some hibiscus. This is different types of, this might be a tree collard, some sort of collard. This is where I'm composting and the bird comes in and gets something to eat, but that's a potato growing. I could move it or just compost it back in. More lettuce seeds I'm growing. I've been trying to get that planted, though of course I could just cut this and use it just the way it is. This is gorgeous. Zinnias. I've got zinnias growing in here in a shoebox. And there, that's basil. Didn't make it through the winter, but I've got seeds on there. So I can start sprinkling the seeds back. There's something growing down there. So we'll see. So that's what's going on here, but I'm going to pack up more lettuce in just a milk container. So there's not much parsley in here, but I do plan on getting a whole lot more in here. This is so nice. Look, you can stand in there. I haven't got one of these lights from Walmart. I love this. Look at that. I can come out here at night and it lights up. And the solar panels on the outside. I love those. I've got 2 of them. I've got them in the house too, where a place, just make sure it's turned right. But you can come out here. It's just always charging. See, I've got one there. And you've got light no matter what. And I'll tell you something on those light bulbs. I have used them where they burn 24 hours. So when you turn them on at night, if you lost your electricity, they're still on in the morning. Let's see, and that's basically it. You know, we've walked around. Let's go over here. This I have to do. I've already got the strawberries. You saw that. So I'm going to go ahead and get that together soon. I love this. I don't know if I'll make a new tray for it. It just goes on the seat. But you know, it's still holding up. It's got a little crack there. I could just take that off. But otherwise, it's doing good. It's not really doing much. The seed is still there, so I might leave it. I'll see what happens when I take it apart. These are kind of odd strawberries. They're white, and they don't taste that good. I want to get better strawberries in there. I do a lot of cuttings, so when the water comes out of the containers, see here? When they drain out, they're going into these buckets, and these are all cuttings. And this is working fantastic, so I'm propagating all this geranium. Here, I've got to freshen this all up for the peppers. They're still getting a lot of shade. More milkweed. That strawberry thing, I might take care of it. I might dig out my potato mint. This is potato mint before it grows back and see what grew in there. This is going purple tree collard because we got rid of the fig tree that was here. No more fig tree, though it's still trying to grow. Gary said just keep cutting it back, it'll disappear. In here, I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it covered because it's already covered, or just let it, maybe I might uncover it and let the butterflies come and use that one and then get serious with the rest of them. I've had watermelon growing in here and squash and pepinos and tomatoes. I'll decide when I get there. I'm not sure yet because I'm kind of moving all over the place. This is where, when the gazebo's up, I propagate and I also start a lot of seeds in those 3 green ones. I did a whole video on that. That's like a greenhouse. So I'm not sure if I'm going to plant in it. If I put, or have Gary put, hold on, the gazebo back, then I will propagate in it because it's too shaded to really grow like a zucchini or tomato there. But if I don't, I can grow tomatoes up against there. So that's what's going on here, but it still looks nice and it's a nice place to sit, and I just have to clean up my table because I've been using it as a work table. This basil made it all through the winter. Normally they don't. I might trim it back and let it do a fresh, clean growth on it for the spring. And then this, the same thing, it looks like this every year. Trim it back, freshen up some soil in here. It should be fine. This one, I don't know if it will come back. See how this died back? This is thyme. This did not do that well. Though, I see a lot of new growth. Maybe it will come back. I'll cut it all the way back. The ones in the dog kennel did fantastic. Cutting off my rosemary, doing really good, growing in the red bucket. And that is oregano, and that needs a good trimming. I might just sit down and get that trimmed real soon. And that's it. That's my pepper garden. And like I said, a lot of this is going to be moved and changed. Maybe I should put a fig tree here in a pot, and then if I don't want it, I can move it. Make sure there's no holes on the bottom, holes on the side, so it can't set root. And then I can use it for shade if I want, and if I don't want it, I can move it somewhere else in the yard. I might do that because I've got other trees I'm doing that with. Oh, here's, if you watched me, you knew I got a little tiny piece of this. It's kind of like a Martha Washington geranium, and I put it in there, and now it's kind of all over the place. I got to get cuttings off that beautiful purple flower. The only problem with that one is it only kind of flowers for a month or two, and then it's done. Where the pink ones, pretty much all year. See, look at this. I'm propagating figs. Look at this in pots right here in the tote. And some will make it and some will not. And then there I've got an avocado tree, see, in a pot. And I'm thinking maybe I should do that here and get some strawberry fig trees growing. Let them do their thing. Because when you're kind of growing a plant, what you want to do is be near a hose. And I've got a hose here. You don't want to have to be carrying watering cans all over, especially when you're propagating because you have to keep them damp. That might work. So I hope you enjoyed this. It's getting there. I mean, we have been fortunate to have good weather so far this winter. We still have, 3 weeks left of winter, and it could change on a dime. It might spin around. We've been in the 70s, 80s, almost 90, and then we've been as low as the 40s. So we're kind of all over. I mean, they keep saying rain and the clouds kind of move in and then they move out. So we'll see. But now they're only predicting the one rain instead of, they said days of rain. So I think it's kind of shifting, and we may not get that much rain. If we, and some areas get rain and some areas don't. Sometimes my brother who lives in LA will call me. It's rainy, it's pouring. Do you have any rain? And I'll say, no, I got sun. And that's what happens in Southern California. They may predict something and your area may not get what they predict. Or you may get something worse, and they'll tell you, beautiful sunny day, and it's pouring and hailing where you are. So you never know. Look, the birds are going back and forth because they're going to start nesting. So I hope you enjoyed this. Look at the hummingbird. I don't know if you can see him. See? The sow thistle. Oh. Okay, you know what that bird was doing? Collecting the fuzz and went that way. She's building a nest. I have seen this all over. We're going to have a ton of baby hummingbirds. Oh my gosh. Let's see, 2 weeks to sit, 2 weeks to raise. Oh my goodness. In about 6 weeks, we're going to have baby hummingbirds everywhere because I've been seeing them do that even on the deck. So I hope you enjoyed this. Leave your comments. Remember, if you want to know what Gary's doing with the dog kennel, and you could be nice. You don't have to be rude. You can say, hey, Gary, we saw the dog kennel. Please tell us what you did. I'm interested. And I think that will push him to sit down at night. And I told him, just make it short. Just put it together and tell them what you bought, what you did, how you changed it, and how much it's going to change the functionality of it and make it easier to do a lot of stuff with. So with that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget, as I always say, to eat what you grow. I know I saw it. There it is. Got to keep Tulle around here or the squirrels will come get it. Pepinos. I use that in stir fry. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. Don't forget to eat what you grow, everybody. Thanks for joining me on the garden tour on a beautiful day that could turn at any moment into rain. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you. And thank you to all my members, my moderators when I go on live. You're a lifesaver to me and to Gary too. Bye-bye, everybody.